Who decided that $100,000 was the bar? This whole thing of like, got to make 100 grand. I mean, whether it's from a dating perspective or whether it's from a personal goal perspective, who decided that? Misunderstand me. I mean, look, ain't nothing wrong with 100 grand, but isn't it more about debt to income ratio? I mean, we see it now. We're in such a time where people are just, they don't have any financial literacy and people are going out spending money. It's like a vice. You work all week and everyone claims they love their job. But I don't care if you're a manager, temp worker, whatever you call yourself. Friday feels just as good, and Sunday evening is like, got to get back in the grind tomorrow. And I don't know. I just been thinking about that lately. Like we try to base this around. I love my job based on how much I make, but clearly people are leaving jobs to take pay cuts because they want better peace of mind. Pardon me, or you have people who unfortunately they're in so much debt because the more you make, the more we have a tendency to spend. So a lot of people who have these good jobs, they may have a nicer car, but they're still stressing 30-day payments just like you. So it's almost like at what point do we be like, well, once money becomes a tool, what else can I do to not be so dependent? Because unfortunately, this job, a lot of times you put your identity into this job and you've been doing it for 5, 10 years or whatever, and you have a job with a fancy job title, got a bunch of syllables. It's all engineered to make you feel good about yourself. It's almost like how a janitor is a custodian. I'm not unemployed, I'm between jobs. We live in such a world where you want to pacify a person's ego with all these politically correct terms. So let's say you have a job with a fancy job title, but you also make good money. But unfortunately, you spend more. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we are here to be abundant, but it's a thin line between am I having this abundant life from being blessed or am I really running? Some people smoke a blunt, some people drink, some people do whatever they do. Some people spend for the same purpose as a person that gets high, whatever. You're trying to escape from your reality. You done worked all week, you're working these long hours or whatever the case. You got kids in sports, just the obligation of being an adult. But then the weekend comes around, so of course you don't want to be home. So it's kind of like you out and about. The reason why people want to go to fine dining, I don't really think it's about the fine dining. It's just about I want to unplug and do something good for myself, which is healthy, but where's the balance is the only thing. At what point do you realize it's like, no, I might need to tone it down a little bit? Because how much filet mignon can you eat before it just start tasting like a hamburger? You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, and once again, this isn't about the meals. This isn't about the clothes. It's about your motive. Like, what am I really trying to accomplish? And I really think that's when a lot of people who turn into minimalists, they realize, like, I get it now. Like, these things, they can make you feel good for a moment. I mean, we all like to get fresh or feel fresh. We all want to feel like we're socially up to par, we're socially adequate. But these things really don't fulfill you. And I'm sure you can have a person that may make 60 grand. They may make, just say, yeah, 60 grand. But depending how they live, they probably have a more peaceful life. And they probably have more money in the bank than someone who makes, say, 100, 150 grand or whatever. And I don't think the term living below your means literally means deprive yourself. It's just like get what you need. You know what I mean? If you can, I mean, of course, if you can get a couple vacations a year, maybe every 2 years you can go somewhere international, still go see the world. You can still have a nice, abundant life, but you just don't have to try to do it every single day. And I think, of course, don't get sucked into the social media thing of comparing yourself, feeling like you're keeping up with the Joneses and all of these things. And I just think once you find that balance, that's when you're growing up. And that's when you're becoming wiser. And a lot of times I find that people that get those epiphanies are people that stop hanging out with a lot of people because peer pressure doesn't stop when you get grown. Whatever you hang around is what you become. And we have a tendency to benchmark our success or adequacy by what we're around. But when you kind of hang alone, you can only watch your journey. You get caught up in your journey and you learn to appreciate your small wins. Versus if you're around somebody, you're comparing, you may have your 1 degree He may have 3 degrees. So now you want to compare yourself. I gotta go back to school. I gotta go back to school. And then once again, it's all about a spectrum. It's all about balance. It's good to be around people that motivate you. But when you start comparing yourself and start being down on yourself because you don't have what another person has or whatever, that's when it becomes it becomes unhealthy again. So I guess the whole thing of this, like I said, this is my channel. I just do random thoughts, but I know I'm not the only person that feels this way. I would love somebody to come in the comment, give me your opinion, and just let me know I'm not tripping. I mean, am I the only person that's been on this earth for 50 plus years and I'm not noticing certain things just about psychology? Because every day you wake up, you're doing environmental research. You're out here living, you're interacting with humanity, and you start to notice patterns as well as your own patterns, and you start to self-reflect, and you just start to get these discoveries. And I just want to know, am I tripping, or this race for the 100 grand? It's like, at what cost? People working all hours just to try to hit a number. When a lot of times it's like, no, cut out some of your vices. Because I mean, we all have to pay bills. We got to survive, but really, it's our vices that get us in trouble. And our vices are centered around, in my opinion, the wanting to eat and wanting to buy these high fashion brands from people that probably don't even like you. You know what I mean? And it's like, at what cost? How many sneaker balls and white parties and black parties and gay all of this stuff just to escape from yourself, because you're really not as fulfilled. A lot of people, when they're not at work, they don't have any hobbies or interests that brings them back to self, that brings them back to the present. They don't even know who they are a lot of times. And I'm not saying I have life so mastered, but I'm just saying that I'm conscious of these things, and I've learned that not hanging out as much, I'm starting to get it. And I think, we associate that with, oh, you just getting old. It's like, no, you're getting wiser. Realize I don't need to be hanging out all the time to feel like my life is good. I mean, I can take care of myself. Got heat, air, got a car, good credit, all the stuff you should have as an adult. But everything else is extra. I mean, Balenciagas and all this Amiri, this, and that's just not what I'm really into. Don't misunderstand me. Let me be clear. If I could afford a Bentley, I'm sure I would probably have a Bentley. But I don't feel like life is passing me by just because I don't have these things. I still have a good life, and I'm still thankful. So I just want to know, like, will people kind of get it? Like, what's the hundred grand, the six-figure thing? Is like, all right, cool. Now what? You have money. That's a tool now. You're not just living check to check. Now you have extra money to empower yourself to do something. I understand you may not have an entrepreneurial spirit, but how do you give back to yourself to make your life a little more intent driven? When you're not at work, who are you? What do you do when you're not at work besides scroll social media all day? So I don't know. I think that is the question. Who are you without your job? And so once again, come in the comments. Just holler at me. Just give me your opinion. Let me know what y'all thinking. Let me know I'm not tripping, and I'm not the only person that's noticing these patterns. So once again, thank y'all.